Hey guys, it's Cece, and this is my June book haul. I accumulated too many books in June, and because of how many books I got this month, I am now on a book buying ban. I cannot buy any books until I finish at least most, if not all of these books. I went a little crazy. We're just gonna jump in and show you what I got, okay? So the first book that I bought this month, I didn't actually buy. It was a gift from my aunt, and that is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the collection of novellas that go with the Throne of Glass series. Really excited to read this. I want to get to it really soon because the series was really amazing, and I'd love to be able to read more of it before we finally get Queen of Shadows later this year. The next books I got at a used bookstore, and they were really cheap. They were like $1 each, and so I was able to just grab a couple really quickly and not feel too bad about it. And the first book that I got there was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I've already read this book. I've already read the whole Percy Jackson series, but I read them from the library, so I've slowly been getting copies so that I can have all of my own copies of Percy Jackson, and this brings me up to 3 total. I only need 2 more. It's very exciting. The next book that I got at the thrift store was 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Again, I've already read this book. I read this last summer, and I just really wanted my own copy because I loved this book. This book is about a boy named Clay, and one day he finds a box of tapes on his doorstep, and on the tapes is the voice of a girl named Hannah, who he went to school with, who killed herself very recently. And she gives a list on the tapes of people who in some way caused her death, and Clay is on the list. It's a really, really good book. It's a very engrossing read. I got through it really quickly, so I'm really glad that I have my own copy of this. And the last book that I got at the thrift store was Can't Wait to Get to Heaven by Fanny Flagg. I don't know much about this book. I don't really know the plot of this book. I just know that it's by Fanny Flagg, who wrote Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I read that book earlier this year and loved it, so I saw this book for $1 and figured I'd give Fanny Flagg another chance. The next book I got as part of a giveaway during TBR Takedown. So I got this from Shannon at Leaning Lights, and I will leave her information linked below so you can check it out. But that book was Unspeakable by Abby Rushton. I'm so excited to read this book. This is a very, very quick book. It is young adult contemporary. Basically, I think it's about a girl, and she hasn't talked in years, and then this new girl comes to school, and they really connect. This book is really beautiful looking, and I'm really excited to read it. It's so short, so I want to read it really quickly, and very soon. These next 2 books that I got were just really cheap. They were on sale at the bookstore and happened to grab them because I've desperately wanted to read both of them, and they were really cheap, and I didn't want to pass that up. The first of those books is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I'm going to turn this so you can see the cover a little bit. This is a beautiful book. It's this bright pink color, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's got, you know, the nice edges. Basically, I heard about this book first on Raylene's channel, Padfoot and Prongs 07. And she really, really liked it, and I know that it's really, really dark, which intrigues me, because it's this nice bright pink book, but it's got, you know, it's got stuff on the cover. Plus, it says on the inside, for mature audiences only. I know that this has to do with some girls who think that someone they know is possessed, and there's an exorcism, but it's also, it seems more like torture than an exorcism. This is a very dark book, which I'm very excited about because I love reading about dark stuff, so I know that this one I'm going to get to very, very soon. The other book that I got that day was just, it was ridiculously cheap. I've really wanted to read it, so I couldn't pass it up, and that book is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. I've heard amazing things about this book. I've just heard it's really fantastic. I know it is about a girl named Darcy who is writing a book that's getting published, and the book is told in alternating chapters between Darcy and her female character in the book that she's writing. And I'm very interested. It's been well reviewed, and I love Scott Westerfeld. I think he's a really great author, and also I've seen that this book is on some LGBT bookshelves, which is really interesting because that is not something that is mentioned on the dust jacket, and I appreciate it when it is just something that's woven through the book instead of it being about that. I don't know where the LGBT thing comes into this book, but we'll see. But this is just a monster of a book, and I want to get to it really soon, but it's sort of intimidating, and I want to read a couple shorter books before I get to this. Now on to the last stack of books. So basically what happened here is that a store that's nearby my house had this huge sale, and the sale was basically any used book that they had in the store was $3. Plus, I already had like $25 in store credit, and I had a couple coupons saved up. So I got 11 books, and they're mostly hardcover, and I got them all for $7, which is ridiculous. Like, I've been in a good mood ever since. I'm so excited, but that sale was definitely the cause of my book buying ban, because I got a lot of books. So we're just gonna try to go through these books fairly quickly. The first one that I got was Ghost Night by Cornelia Funk. This is a middle grade book. I believe it's fantasy. I think it is about a boy at a boarding school, and him and someone else bring the ghost of a knight in to save them from a bunch of other ghosts and ghouls, I think. I don't know. I love Cornelia Funk. I've read almost every book she's ever written. I own most of the books that she's written, so author loyalty. Cornelia Funk is an auto buy for me. Also, this is one of the first books that I've gotten that has this. I've seen this and it's really interesting. But this blue part, this is the dust jacket. It's just this little blue strip. And that's very strange, but I like it. I think it's really cool. The next book that I got is Positively Beautiful by Wendy Mills. Again, I don't know much about this book. That's going to be a running theme with these, because I would only pick up books that were used, and if it caught my attention, I'd pick it up, I'd read the description, and if it sounded at least a little bit interesting, I would buy it. So there are a few of these that I don't know much about, but I have seen a couple people talk about Positively Beautiful, and the cover is positively beautiful. It is a young adult contemporary. I'm interested to see what this book is like. I'm interested. The next book that I got, I think, is one of the most beautiful books that I picked up. I'd never heard of it, but I think this cover is gorgeous. And that book is Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone by Kat Rosenfield. Look at this beautiful cover. I can't stop looking at this beautiful cover. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. And this was one of those cases where I judged a book by its cover. It's pretty short. I know it's about a girl who graduates high school, and the day after she graduates, they find a girl named Amelia Ann dead just outside of town. And there's mystery and intertwining narratives. I'm interested, but honestly, I have to say that the cover sold me on this book because it is so cool looking. The next book that I picked up is Full Ride by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This was just another one of those books that I picked up because I love the author. Margaret Peterson Haddix has written some of my favorite books when I was a kid, and I continued to enjoy them into high school. So I'm very curious what this is. I know it's about a girl trying to escape from her past. I know that this is a thriller, and I know that Margaret Peterson Haddix writes just incredible thrillers. She writes such page-turners, and I can't wait to read this. I think that I'll probably get through this one very quickly, because that's just the kind of thing that she does. She gets me. The next two books that I picked up are part of a series that I haven't read yet, but hopefully will at some point this year, and that is the Heroes of Olympus series. I got The Lost Hero and The Mark of Athena, which are books 1 and 3, and this is a series by Rick Riordan that come after the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. The reason I got 1 and 3 is that those were the two that were on the big sale, and to get, you know, these beautiful hardcovers like this for $3, so worth it, and I knew that I wanted to own the beautiful hardcovers, so I will get to 4 and 5 soon, but I'm really excited that I got to get these beautiful books. I know a little bit about this series, but not a ton. I know that it's told, at least this first one is told from 3 different perspectives, and I know that it will tie in back with Percy and Annabeth, because I know some of the stuff that happens at the end of this book. So, we'll see. The next book I picked up, I just got, again, because of the cover. It intrigued me, and the story sounds sort of interesting, so we'll see how that goes. And that is How to Buy a Love of Reading by Tanya Egan Gibson. I It has all these nice books on the cover. It's called How to Buy a Love of Reading. I think people are starting to pick up by now that I really like books about reading or books about books. Definitely books about bookstores. So I'm curious about this. I think it's about a girl and she doesn't like reading at all, and so like the town commissions a writer to write a book especially for her that she'll definitely enjoy. I don't know, it sounds interesting and it's really pretty. The next book that I got is Eon. I think it's Eon. Well, I'll look that up before I read this. And it is by Allison Goodman. I've wanted to read this book. This is a young adult epic fantasy series. I know that there's a second one by now, but basically it's about a girl named Iona, and she's been in this camp for years disguised as a boy named Eon because girls are not allowed to learn dragon magic, and she wanted to learn dragon magic, but someone's gonna find out her secret, and this thing is like, it's punishable by death. I don't know. It's this big fat book, but I'm so excited because I feel like I don't read enough high fantasy. I originally heard about this book on Kaz's channel, Little Book Owl, and so she really liked it, so I'm excited to see what this book is like. The next book that I picked up was The Adventures of Niccolo Zen by Nicholas Christopher. This book is a young adult book with magic. I think he's an orphan and he has some sort of magical instrument that his father left him that allows him to play beautifully even though he's never had a single lesson. I don't know much about this book beyond that, except that it takes place in Venice, and I'm going to Venice at the end of this year, and so anything that takes place in like Italy or Paris or London, anything that takes place in a place where I'm going this fall is sort of automatically more exciting to me. I don't know if this will be any good, but the location got me. I'm a sucker for books right now that take place in places that I'm going, so we'll see how this one is. The second to last book I got was Teeth by Hannah Moskowitz. I have not read any other Hannah Moskowitz books, although I have a couple others on my TBR shelf on Goodreads. I feel like I've said I don't know much about this book, like, on every book that I've picked up, but I really don't. It sounds sort of interesting and weird, so we'll see how this one is. It's really cool looking. Like, this cover is so cool looking that I'm interested. And finally, the last book that I got was Secret by Lindsay Smith. I've seen a lot of people talk about this book on BookTube. I think it looks really cool and interesting. This is young adult fantasy, and there's some historical elements. Basically, there's this girl in communist Russia, and she can read the minds of people she touches, which is a skill that would be very much valued by the KGB, because they are building a group of, like, special people who can help them. I've heard a lot of good things about this, and the back sounds really interesting. When I saw this cover, I did not assume mind reading, but that is what this book is about, and so I'm very intrigued by what this might be. Okay, that is my June book haul. I got so many books. I got too many books, but now I'm not going to buy books for a while. I'm so excited with my huge stack, but there are so many. I'm gonna try to read really quickly this summer. Also remembering that I have to reread the entire Harry Potter series at some point this summer. It's a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've bought any books this year, please let me know what they are in comments, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!